Hi lovelies, hi, welcome back to my channel. Anyway, today we're going to finish The River Between. I know this has been long overdue. You're going to bear with me. The girl got held up in so many other things. But anyway, let's get right into it. So we left off from Mutoni's death. I should think so. Yeah. So after Mutoni dies, there's so much confusion both in Kameno and Makuyu. The Christian community, the mission in Makuyu, uses this as an opportunity against the traditional beliefs and traditional rites in Kameno. So anyway, whilst all of them are trying to stabilize, Chenge, who is one of the most respected elders in Kameno, dies. Chenge was the traditional healer and he was Wayaki's father. So he dies, unfortunately. But before his death, I think I had mentioned this in part 1, Chenge encourages Wayaki to go to Sirena and to go and get a formal education from the mission school. So whilst to go and get the formal education from the mission school, but he cautions Wayaki not to forsake his responsibilities and not to forget where he's come from. So after Chenge's death, a few years after Chenge's death, Wayaki goes back to Kameno and he builds schools. So these schools are welcomed by almost all the villagers in Kameno, and all of them are so zealous about attaining formal education. And because of this gesture, Wayaki is considered as a savior, and because he is naturally a born leader. What am I trying to say? Wayaki is a born leader. I had mentioned this in part 1. He has some sort of fire in his eyes that made people do exactly what he wants them to do, even without asking. So he was a born leader and he knew his responsibilities both to the people of Kameno and to his father also. But because of everything that's happening around him, Wayaki feels like he's torn in between. He's torn in between taking part in the traditional rites and doing more. He doesn't know. He believes that not everything that the white man has brought is evil. But again, he needs to uphold his traditional rights and responsibilities. So he's torn in between this. So Wayaki and Nyambura, Mutoni's sister, meet at the river a number of times and they fall in love. But they both know that their love is forbidden. They cannot be together because they are from two sides of different coins. They're not from the same coin. They're from two different worlds, and their communities are fighting for power and political recognition. So they definitely know they can't be together because Nyambura is the daughter to the mission leader, whilst Wayaki is a daughter to the traditional healer, the most respected elder in Kameno. So because Kameno and Makuyu have these conflicts going on, these two can definitely not be together. And they know this. But then Wayaki loves Nyambura so much that he even decides to propose. Nyambura turns down his proposal because she just can't deal with the emotional stress and drama of the entire relationship. So Wayaki's leadership is now under scrutiny. One of the elders, in fact, most of the elders are beginning to question whether he's a fit leader. But the one elder who is really against Wayaki's leadership is called Kamboni. Kamboni was a true believer in Christianity under Joshua's leadership, but he defected. So after that defection, he went back to Kameno and he decides Wayaki is not a fit leader because he's young, and Kamboni thinks he is the one that deserves to be the leader of Kameno. So he does everything. He tries by all means to decampaign Wayaki. And Kambonyi has a son called Kamau. Kamau, who is jealous of Wayaki's accomplishments. So everything does not seem so great for Wayaki at this point. And because these two, Kamau and Kambonyi, don't like Wayaki, they try everything in their powers to make sure that they discredit him. One of the things that they do is Kamau meets Wayaki and Nyambura. He sees them together, and they're a couple, so they're obviously walking in a very peculiar way. You know how couples walk and how couples behave around each other. So he definitely knows that these two have something going on. So Kamau goes and tells his father that Wayaki and Nyambura are in a relationship. And this has been the cherry. This has been the biggest catalyst that Kambonyi was looking for. So Kambonyi goes to tell the elders, saying, look, Wayaki is in a relationship with Nyambura. If you don't believe me, let's call both of them. We see what they're going to do. So they set a meeting up. The elders set a meeting, and Wayaki and Nyambura are called to that meeting, and they profess their love for each other. Wayaki tells the elders he loves Nyambura and he wants to marry her. So because he said that, Nyambura was then forced to go and tell her father about it. And the first thing Joshua said was, no, you are not getting married to this man. If you decide to get married to Wayaki, you're no longer my daughter. But before all this, in the bid to bring unity and to bring prosperity to the village, Wayaki actually goes and approaches Joshua. And he tries talking to Joshua about the position in which both of their communities are in and everything that's happening. So some of the elders, some people see Wayaki and Joshua talking, and they use this, like the elders that were against Wayaki's leadership, they use this as a campaign strategy. So they begin to tell the people of Kameno that Wayaki wants to sell them to the white people. He wants to sell them into slavery. So already this dents Wayaki's image, and it decampaigns him, it defranchises him, it makes him appear as a villain amongst the people of Kameno. So fast forward, I don't know how I got lost in that thought. Anyway, fast forward, he during this meeting, after Nyambura tells her father about it and he says you're not going to marry him, Wayaki decides to go and get some clarity away from everyone else. So he goes to a place called The Groove, and he meditates and he gets the clarity that he's looking for. And this clarity is that both the people of Kameno and Makuyu need proper classroom education and unity if they are going to prosper in politics and in other things. So this is the message that Wayaki leaves The Groove with, and he is so zealous about it that he begins to tell almost everyone, saying we need to unite, we need to be united as one. Both Makuyu and Kameno need to come together and unite if we're going to prosper, and we need the education that I brought forth. But then this message is received with mixed feelings. In fact, he's even fired as a teacher by the Kamau. No, Kamau is that man's name. I will insert the name. I've forgotten the name. But they fire him as a teacher. They fire him from being a teacher at that school. So as he's trying to spread this message across, there is another meeting that's been called. Kambonyi and some elders call for a meeting, and during this meeting they bring Nyambura. And Wayaki cannot deny her because he loves her. So because they bring Nyambura in an open meeting, all the villagers see and all the villagers hear that Wayaki and Nyambura are together, and this is not received well by other villagers. So Wayaki and Nyambura are given a punishment which is not mentioned to us. It's left for us to conclude what sort of punishment these two were given. And that's the end of the novel. So the biggest theme in this novel, there are so many themes, but I feel for me, I'm going to choose the forbidden love, love that has been denied existence due to a conflict between two separate villages that have failed to come to an understanding on traditional beliefs, what is good and what is evil. So see you in the next one. I can't wait for you guys to see the next book. I am so excited. That's what made me delay to post this part, because I have been so busy reading this other book. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. So see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.